You know that feeling, that awkward pause in a conversation where you're not sure what to say next? Well, today we're going to dive into a super simple 3-word phrase that is a total game changer. It's going to make your English conversations flow so much more naturally. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so let's start with that feeling we have all had, that awkward pause. We're going to talk about how to connect with someone right after you've made your point without ever missing a beat.
Seriously, we've all been there, right? You're in the middle of a great conversation. You share an opinion, and you know it's a good one. And then, crickets. Just that little bit of silence hanging in the air while you're waiting for the other person to react.
So let's picture it. You state an opinion, something you're almost positive the other person agrees with. But now what? How do you actually bridge that gap? How do you turn your simple statement into a moment of real connection? What are you supposed to say next?
Well, that little gap in the conversation is exactly what we're here to solve today. Let's look at the perfect question, a super simple phrase that bridges that gap almost effortlessly.
And that's it. That's the whole thing. 3 simple words. Am I right? It sounds energetic, it's inviting, and honestly, it's going to be your new secret weapon for way smoother conversations.
Okay, so let's really break this down. When you say, am I right, you're not really asking a literal question. It's more of an energetic, conversational way to say, hey, we're on the same page here, yeah? It actively pulls the other person into the conversation and basically gives them a perfect opportunity to agree with you. So theory is great and all, but let's see how this actually sounds out in the real world. We're going to head to a ramen shop to see this phrase in action. So listen to what Sarah does here. She states her opinion with a ton of enthusiasm. This new ramen spot downtown is absolutely amazing. The broth is so rich. But then, instead of just stopping there, she kind of tosses the conversational ball over to Mike by adding, am I right, Mike? And just look at the payoff. Mike's response is immediate, it's enthusiastic. You're absolutely right, Sarah. I could eat there every day. That potential for an awkward pause, it's just gone. And instead, you've got this immediate shared connection. That's the magic of this little phrase.
All right, so you've seen the basics. Now let's really dig in. We're going to get into the pro tips so you can start mastering the nuance of this incredibly useful phrase and use it perfectly.
You know, this phrase is surprisingly versatile. It's absolutely fantastic for building rapport, for making the other person feel included in what you're saying. You can also use it to just quickly check if they're following your story. Or you can even use it playfully, like when you're stating an obvious fact just to add a little bit of humor. Okay, this is key. Context is everything. This phrase is at its best in casual chats with friends, when you're just sharing common ground. But you're definitely going to want to avoid it in more formal settings, like in a business report or during a really serious discussion where you need very precise agreement. Just keep it casual and you'll be golden.
Okay, it is time to put what you've learned to the test. Let's do a quick little check-in to see if you've got the hang of using this phrase.
So, which of these is the absolute best situation to use, am I right? Is it A, when you're formally presenting a business proposal to your boss? B, when you're asking a total stranger for directions? Or is it C, after you've shared a common opinion with a friend? I'll give you a second to think about it.
And the answer is C! Of course it is. It's the perfect tool for turning a simple statement into a nice moment of shared agreement in a friendly, casual chat. If you got that one, fantastic job.
So really, just remember this. By adding this one simple question to your conversational toolkit, you've really just unlocked a key to having more natural, more engaging, and way more connected conversations in English.
And that pretty much wraps up our explainer on Am I Right? So here's a final thought for you to take away. What other common English phrases feel just a little bit tricky to use? Thinking about those is a great next step on your learning journey. Thanks so much for watching.